What up, everybody out there in podcast land? Thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of Kane and Ross Present, the Year I Said It podcast. Brain, try to match out. We're expressing with our full capabilities to they want us in correction facilities. I am the dad half of this operation, Ross Cooper. As always, I am rocking with the best. My co-host, my guy, please introduce yourself to the folk.
Most dangerous place on earth is your mind. What's good, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good day, month, year, hour, second, minute, all that good stuff. If you're watching on the other platforms, please share with your friends, family, pets, enemies, aliens, ocean, all types of stuff. If you're watching on the tube, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Because if you don't, something will happen. I got nothing today. I'm sorry.
You're killing me, yo. You're killing me, yo. I need you to think of this ahead of time.
I usually just go on the fly. I just say stuff.
See, I'm gonna need you to start thinking things ahead of time now, man. Like, come on. But want to start the show off on a serious note. A few days back, Cheslie Kryst committed suicide. She was a former model, just a bright sister, and what her mom described is that she had high functioning depression. Now, I am not a psychologist or a doctor. I don't know exactly. I know what it sounds like, but I will not sit here and pretend I know all the ins and outs. But it sounds like she was someone to the entire world that appeared had all the things going for her, you know, and still, I guess behind closed doors, there was some darkness there. And even what got me was even her mom was like, I had no idea. And it's like, I want to take this moment to implore everyone that if you're feeling some kind of way, please, please, please reach out. You don't have to hide it. And I also want to admonish mainstream media for still having this stigma about, seeking therapy, seeking help. I want to admonish those in the Black community who still perpetuate stigmas about mental health. As someone who sees a therapist myself, it's amazing to me because it's just, can we talk? It's just that's what I do. And I'd be like, I'm gonna call you back so we got a therapy. But I will tell you that as much as there's been this Black need to see therapy, Black need to go to, take care of your mind, da 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 da. I cannot tell you how many times I've mentioned just casually, like, oh yeah, I was talking to my therapist about blah blah blah. Or they'd be like, yo, what you doing this weekend? Like, yo, I got therapy at such and such time. Oh, word? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, that right there. Like, you say I'm going to the doctor, no one says a word. You say I'm going to get an oil change. No one says a word, right? You say I'm going to the gym. No one says a word. That's just accepted maintenance. Second, you say I'm going to therapy. Oh, what's wrong with you? Before I met the love of my life now, I'm transparent. I was out dating. I'd be like, I'll see a therapist, Oh, are you okay? Now I do get that one's kind of loaded because women, they definitely want to be careful about making sure they're not dating someone who might be a bit unstable or potentially dangerous. Like if we're gonna be all the way real, the biggest threat to women is men. That is not up for debate. But there's literally this stigma about seeing a therapist, and it is perpetuated in the Black community. It is still perpetuated in media. You look at how we deal with Kanye's behavior. Um, and I think we miss a lot of times things that may be cries for help, but that meme you see, check on your quote unquote strong friend, that's real. Not just a, hey, you good? No, how have you been? How is your, because people that are the strong friend, they go, oh, I'm cool. No, ask the question. I ask you, how's your mental health? How are you feeling? Make that conversation real. Make that person have to say something. But this is tragic, and it's, to me, there's a lot of pieces to it, and there's still, like, I see in comment sections, how could she do such a thing? Like she was young, she was beautiful, she had everything going for her. And it's like these things that we equate with success, that we equate with happiness, the constructs. They're not necessarily real. Money doesn't make everybody happy. Being physically attractive doesn't do it for everybody. But I'll stop and let you chime in, sir. Your thoughts and feelings here.
It's very tragic. Um, I'm not gonna say the cliche thing that you should check up on your friends and all that, or the mental health crying for stuff, because that's what's in right now. But most people don't really care. But I mean, you could do everything right, like the mom or a close friend. Like you should try to check up and ask, like you said, if you're actually going to check up all the way. Ask the right questions. So they're saying you good, like you just said. How's your mental? How do you feel? What's on your mind? What do you want to talk about? You know,
Mm.
you should probably ask those questions and not do that once a year or on holidays or yeah, every once in a blue moon. Try to do as much as possible. But at the same time, I do realize, and it's a tough lesson that I learned, is that you can't save people from themselves. And therapy does not work for everybody. Trust me from experience. But the best you can do is be there for that person. Maybe it can save their life, and in some cases, it won't. It's nothing you can do. You can, like I said, you can't save someone from themselves, and you can't change somebody's mentality or how they view things, especially if they view themselves or the world or both in a negative light. There's nothing you can do. You can give a million compliments, you can tell them to get help, do all that good stuff, but if they don't feel that way or they don't want to change for themselves, there's none. Is unfortunately nothing you can do. But I do agree that if you do care about someone, you should try your best to be in their life and just listen and not judge someone whatever they're feeling or whatever. Because I know we do that too. It's like, oh, why you feel that way? You shouldn't. No, if they feel that way, they feel that way. Sometimes you just gotta listen and accept stuff for what it is. But yeah, this is tragic. For her to do something like this was nothing that just happened overnight. It was been going on for a while. And most people, like I said, strong people or whatever you want to call it, I just say people that just wear a mask. Like I said, I think majority of the people that are on the outside world, some people wear their emotions on their sleeve. So you can tell if something's off. You can see it right away. A lot of people don't. They wear a mask, and then when and can smile, laugh, joke, can seem normal, and be devastated, crying in a really really dark place on the inside and alone, and just feel alone. Even though you might show love and all that, but you can't help how someone feels about themselves or the world. So I do encourage you do check up on people, but don't be discouraged, unfortunately, if something like this happens, because there's nothing you can do. People are going to make the decisions based on their own life and what they want to do, unfortunately, even if it's really tragic like this. But the best you can do is be kind and be there for that person. And hopefully, they're willing to see what everyone else sees about themselves, and they can save themselves. But not everyone can save themselves. So this is unfortunately a result of that. But rest in peace to her and her family. And anyone else who's feeling this way or who has committed suicide or thinking about it, trust me, I've been there too. So I get it. But just know that there's no reset button for that. You make that decision, that's the final. So I would say weigh in all your options and hopefully keep fighting, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is your life, and you will have no judgment from me because I get it. Life is hard.
Like I said, I think Well, I hear what you're saying 100%. I don't 100% agree, but I do think I approach things, well, let me back it up. I approach things from the standpoint of in this world, I am a black man first, and I'm a world citizen second, which means my level of response, my layers of responsibility are to the blackness I have, and am I honoring my ancestors in my day to day, and then it's I'm a world citizen. It is the Lenin-esque part of my makeup. It is the belief that the world can be a much better place. And I do think we have a responsibility to our fellow person. I understand in this country that is a foreign concept. It is let me get on, let me get rich, and then I'll take everything else. And I think that focus needs to shift. I know that's a big deal, but like I said, money and things and cars and beauty, none of these things can absolutely not matter, because to me those are ways that we put value on people. If you have these things, you're valuable. Or if you look this way, if you fit what says this is physically attractive, you're valuable. And everyone else should strive to have these things or look this way, i.e., capitalism. I need to get rich, i.e., plastic surgery, crazy diets, because I need to look this way because it increases my value. And what I think we miss time and time again, when you look at, say, a Kurt Cobain, who was an artist in the purest sense, so much so he hated everything that came with fame because art and fame were different, right? You look at a Robin Williams, funniest guy that we all, one of the funniest guys we'd ever come across. And you say, how in the world could you want to leave all of this? And I think we miss the all of this part. It's not fulfilling for everybody. Big told us in a real rudimentary way, more money, more problems. So you can be rich, but because of how this society and this world is set up, value has a number. And what we should stop and look at is there's a good chunk of us. Well, one, I'll say all of us are valuable. No one's a throwaway. But there's a good chunk of us who don't find value in the things, in the money, in the fame, in the press. And there are those of us who find value in coaching. There are those of us who find value in a hug. And I say all that to say, like, yeah, as a world citizen, it pains me to hear and see things like this, that someone just, you know, and that someone just decided enough was enough. And I'd say that even if she wasn't physically attractive, if she wasn't financially well off, it is sad that our world has gotten to the point where it can be so crushing that people say, you know what, I'm out. And
Mm,
that's why I say,
It's
check
not.
on your folk.
Yeah, I mean, you should check on your folks. I agree with that part. But at the end of the day, it's all up to each individual and how they view the world and how they view themselves. There's nothing you can do or say that can change that, unfortunately.
See, I think,
You cannot force someone to live. You cannot force someone to love themselves. You cannot force someone to do anything that they don't want to do. You can help, you can add to it, you can be the rock or be the stand, be the crutch when they need it. But at the end of the day, you can't live life for that person.
oh no, no, not at all, not at all. And
Or you
that's,
can't
I
force them.
think, I think the thing that I'm trying to articulate, and I don't know if I've done a good job of it, is we don't we don't suffer from a lack of money. We being a collective group here as people, we don't really suffer from a lack of money. We don't suffer from a lack of resources. We suffer from a lack of love. And I get that's all eat, pray, lovish, but it's the truth. Because if we love one another, we're not going to sit here and live in a 6 bedroom mansion while somebody starves. If we
I,
loved one another,
I say,
there's a
well,
lot of stuff we wouldn't do
as
because your fellow person, yeah, we suffer from a lack of love.
I
And a lot of times
say,
people feel unloved. loved. So showing them that love, you never know, can make all the difference in the world.
And then it also could. But I also disagree with that. I say because love is the direct quote from hate. I just say more respect and loyalty and just understanding each other. That ain't got nothing to do with love. Love is cool, but love dies every once in a while. So I say loyalty and respect and just really, really understanding each other. Because if you really understand somebody, you ain't even gotta love them, but you will respect that person. You will do right by that person if you truly, truly understand that, and you're not just looking at your point of view of things. Because now your senses and your view is broadened to everyone, and you feel how that person feels, and that's not necessarily love. That's just understanding, respect, and loyalty, which is a dying breed. So that's how I feel about that. But still tragic, man. I said he tell you to get help. I say do whatever it takes to help yourself. That's not too damaged. Because like I said, there's no one bandage or one way to get help. I know everyone says talk to someone and talk to, but that doesn't help everybody. Do what makes you happy. That's not damaging. Like hopefully, like not like drugs or alcohol. Been there too. So yeah, find something productive that you like to do. Stick to it and get help if talking to people actually helps, and do that too. But yeah, like I said, this is unfortunate part of life is death. And like I said, you can't control or live life for somebody no matter how bad you want to. Like I said, you're my father. You can't walk life for me, can't live for me. You can want the best, you can teach me everything you need, you can give me all the tools to succeed, but if I don't want to do it, there's nothing you can do. So I'm just saying to every individual, be as strong as you can. If you do feel alone, do get somebody or find a hobby that will fill the void. But it will be what it will be, unfortunately. And we'll have to live with everybody's choices. There's nothing we can do about it.
All right, and let's see here. Obvious shift. It is the week after, just that interesting week. If you follow pro football in the US NFL, it is that interesting week between the conference title games and the actual Super Bowl. Bombshell happened. Former coach of the Miami Dolphins, brother by the name of Brian Flores, was fired, and he has now decided to sue the NFL. Um, I got a very interesting take on this I want to talk about too, but I'll get to the meat of it. Essentially, he's suing them class action lawsuit, talking about their hiring practices, so on and so forth. Basically, there's a excuse me, one black head coach left, the good guy over in Pittsburgh. But other than that, there were some job openings this off season, and all of them so far have gone to people that are not black. All of them are going to people that are not people of color. All right, so I'm not gonna lie. There's a part of me that's like, duh. Let's do some really quick math. Let's do some really quick math. 31 of the owners, because Green Bay does not have an owner. 31 of the owners are white guys. The vast majority, I do believe, of quarterbacks, the most important position on the field, are still white guys. Offenses, up until just recently, you're talking your Steve McNairs, your Cam Newtons, your Lamar Jacksons. Offenses have been primarily designed for white kind of quarterback play. Super, super strong arm, super accurate arm. Running is a bad idea. You'll never win the Super Bowl with a running quarterback. Oh, oops, sorry. How about that, Steve Young? But you'll never win the Super Bowl with a running quarterback. Where else are we going? This is the same league that has 32 billionaires for owners, but decided to settle with Colin Kaepernick when he said I was blackballed out the league. You got $32 billion. That's an awful lot of money to fight a lawsuit, but instead you decided to settle. You have a league that lied about the damage being done by concussions. Hmm. You had a league so racist, and I don't say that lightly. So racist, they had to create the Rooney Rule that says, "Hey, you gotta interview somebody black. Like you can't just get a job to your man's. You gotta interview somebody black before you just go get a job to your man's." So what we found is, I bet I'm an interview dude. I mean, I already gave a job to somebody else, but since you said I gotta interview somebody black before I get a job to my man's, I'm gonna do that. And that brings us to Brian Flores. So apparently he got a few text messages from the jizzer, the genius of the NFL, Bill Belichick. And in reading those text messages, Bill kind of told that he knew that the other Brian DeBall, the current new coach of the Giants, was getting hired. Like, oh my bad, he had to back off of that and all that. But Brian Flores got text messages. He said he was told to lose games intentionally when he was in Miami. Now,
We know
losing
that
games,
happens. It's called taking, but go ahead.
right, but losing games gets you fired. How
Yeah.
you gonna ask me to lose games and then I'm gonna lose games and say he didn't win? Let's fire him. And I'm like, you see where this is going? But I'm gonna give you this little nugget. My boys posted about it. I'm gonna ask you what you feel about it. He was like, listen, I get what Brian Flores is doing. I support it, but let's not call him a martyr because he was cool with the burning house as long as he was in it. So the question is, if he had a job, if he'd got that Giants job, would there be a lawsuit? And I'm like,
Probably not.
that's a tough one. But the floor is yours, sir. What you think, man?
Yeah. I mean, the Rooney Rule was garbage anyway, because it's like you just said, the whole rules, all you had to do is interview. I can have in my head, all right, come in. All right, cool. Bet. Next. All right, we got you. Like you can just hire wherever you want. And like you said, all of the owners, except for one, or the good old boys club. So, and they're all damn near old and from that bygone era of the NFL. So they all have the mentality is like, yeah, if like you just said, if the leader of our team, the face of our franchise is majority white, it's starting to change now. There's a lot more people of color
Mm-hmm.
for quarterbacks, so that's starting to change. But if yeah, if the face of my franchise is white, so you want somebody that they can identify with and also lead the face of the franchise. So you're probably going to pick someone who's white and someone who agrees with everything you say, and that looks like the owners. I guess they can trust them more or whatever. But it's not going to change until either the owners die out or they start selling the team and we start getting a mixed bag of owners. And Roger Goodell can't do nothing because guess who his boss is?
Right, he works with owners.
The
He
owners.
works with owners.
So it ain't nothing that we can do
It's
to
like asking America to police itself. Oh, my bad.
I guess yeah, there's nothing you can do. Commissioner can't do shit. The owners, they're all in the club together. So they dictate what the hell happens in the NFL for real. So until we get new owners, ain't nothing going to change. This is going to keep happening, bro. I'm not surprised. Like I said, it is crazy that I believe that's what 70% black. There's no black owners.
And no black owners and one
And
as of now,
one black
one
head coach.
black head coach. One.
And he's freaking great. I'm not even a Steelers fan. I hate the Steelers, but if I was in the NFL, I would love to play for Mike Tomlin. And that's not just because he's black. He's one hell of a coach. He's never had a losing season. And also, another thing that's messed up is that when the black head coach outside of Mike Tomlin and maybe Tony Dungy, they get put in the most fucked up situations ever. Like you're set up to lose, and then they get fired when they lose. They don't get multiple chances or multiple seasons when you know the team is in the rebuild, most white coaches, when they're in the rebuild, they get to at least see the end of their labors. They get time. They get some years. Black
And that's
coaches,
the other
nah.
thing that kills me. They keep recycling, like, like, let's be real. If we're gonna be real, how much fruit has the Belichick coaching tree bore? Like,
A lot.
all of his assistants outside of Josh McDaniels, I think, who just got another job. Josh McDaniels just got another job. All of his assistants were trash. Romeo Crennel, every Belichick assistant has been ass for the most part, but they keep getting jobs. Like, it's not just you not hiring black men. It's you keep giving losers jobs. How did Urban Meyer get a job? And again, let's rewind time. Chucky, everybody loved Chucky. Remember, Chucky had his own, and if you don't know who Chucky is, I'm talking John Gruden. Chucky was so beloved, he
That
actually
Keyshawn.
had his own, quarterback show for a hot minute.
Right.
So you gotta ask, who knew about his sentiment in them emails for how long? Like, how many I'm not gonna let it die. The owner, once owner of the Houston Texans, was like, seems like you got the prisoners running the prison. What an interesting analogy.
I
Out of
mean, yeah.
every possible, you didn't say, run the asylum. You said the prisoners running the prison. What an interesting analogy you chose to use. And no, I don't think that was accidental. So
Yeah.
we have a very well, I don't, but I go back to where we started. Well, duh. Like at this point, Deion Sanders, prime time, he was like kind of F y'all. He wasn't looking for a coaching job in the NFL. He was looking to get, we're going down to collegiate level. And I think it's even more scary when you think about how many coaches in D1 are black or not. Like, I think it's even a super small, I think it's a super small percentage, but Deion Sanders is a Florida State alum. It would have only made sense. It's a power school. Is Deion freaking Sanders? And we're good. We're good. We're cool. Thanks, but no thanks. Deion was like, I bet. Goes to Jackson State. And now more and more recruits are saying, after power schools, I'm going to go play for Deion. And it's like,
He's all the
that's
Fame player. He knows what he's talking about.
That's a step. But, I think the most important thing for black people, and honestly all people of color, is ownership. And that's becoming a thing. And that's good. Like, own your masters. As I don't know if anyone said it before Killer Mike, rapper Killer Mike, but he's one of the first people I've heard say it as loudly. Own your masters. And that, of course, is a bit of a euphemism. If you were an artist, own your shit. Don't be doing these deals where the labels or the suits get to tell you what kind of music you need to make, what kind of art you need to make. Own your shit. And how that goes to the sports side of things, we don't need the NCAA. We don't need the NFL. That's why I'm still kind of pissed off at Jay-Z. Which, let me bring something to the table as.
Yeah.
We don't need the NFL.
Make your own table.
But this is gonna be interesting because Brian Flores, the only way this is, and that I love it because it's a hell of a chess move, and the timing of it is perfect because there's nothing going on right now. This would have died if this were 2 weeks earlier. This would have died. Think about it. That Buffalo Kansas City game. If he'd have did this the week before that game, after that Buffalo Kansas City game, no one would have been talking about it at all. But right now, there's nothing going on. We already know who's in the Super Bowl. We're bored. For those who are super supporters of the NFL, you're bored. You're not doing anything. There's nothing else to talk about. This is the boring week. And boom, he drops this bombshell, and you can't ignore it. But yeah, as I've always said, Green Bay and Ice Cube has showed us the answer. Green Bay shows you don't need to be a billionaire to own a team. The teams can be owned by the people. Ice Cube owns his own damn league. It's the big three, and people want to try to shit on that. Is it the NBA? No, but it's not supposed to be. But it does show you a black man can run his own league. I say that to say we can all collectively give middle fingers to the NFL.
That's not gonna happen. But yeah, not sure.
Let's see what happens after this lawsuit. I mean, I know
That's not
that's
gonna
a
change.
big shift. That's
That's
a
like what
big shift.
Look at all the problems you listed before you started. All that exists and is public knowledge. And we're still gonna watch that. We're still gonna watch
Like I said, the
it.
NFL has been in my periphery since Cap. I could tell you every starting quarterback, contracts, yards, so on and so forth. I used to be NFL diehard. And since Cap, I know it's there. I think, I think, I can't even tell you since Cap, I don't even think I've watched 10 football games. I can't give you players. I pretty much my NFL experience is what comes on Sports Center. That's my NFL experience is what comes on Sports Center. I think it's very interesting because very rarely in this country's history have we as Black people, I think since 1965, have we as Black people been able to say, ha, that thing right there, that is decidedly beyond a shadow of a doubt racist. Because it's layered. We get that race class thing intersection, and that can muddle. And we get people of color, so it gets muddled. So very rarely do we get to be like, and again, not happy about that. I'd rather not have to do it at all. But this is one of those times you can actually blatantly see, this thing is racist. One of the other times in sports, I think you can actually, and again, people are going to argue it, but if you know, you know. Rewind time to the NBA when David Stern was still, the commissioner. Allen Iverson, Malice at the Palace. The official cover is going to be, well, our constituents don't want to see that brand of basketball. That's the official cover. But all of a sudden, the NBA dress code? When did the NBA cared what you wore to press conferences? When did the NBA care about your clothes? Oh, it's when, the Fab Five, and then after that, AI has such an effect on the culture being so urban, and then you had them about Brawl at the Palace involving pretty much 99% Black players, and their constituents were a little uneasy. Sounds like possibly the white boys that couldn't come to inner city parks and hoop. Sounds like, the white corporations didn't want that kind of imagery, didn't want to see at the time platinum chains and baggy jeans and cornrows and all the tattoos, and sounds like one enough Larry Bird images around. But that's the only other time I can think of in sports where blatantly you can say, aha, this is some racist shit right here. This is aimed at our folk. And the NFL is, aha, we can clearly see it's some racist shit aimed at our folk. But I hope you're wrong. I mean, you know what? You're not wrong. I said on this show years ago, after when all the things happened with Cap, I said, we're not going to make it to Super Bowl 75. There's no way. I stand corrected. You're right.
I told you. NFL was legit as big as Christianity in this country. And that's not hyperbole. That's the fact. It's football Sunday. It ain't even church Sunday. It's football Sunday. You got churches changing their times to make sure they catch the game. Like, nah, it's too big to fail, bro. All the stuff you named is blatant. It's not, they weren't even hiding it. It's blatant. And we still watch it. Die hard.
Because, so moment of truth, I love football. It is, if anyone knows their football history, Hall of Famer Howie Long from the then Los Angeles Raiders said in his Hall of Fame speech, football is the only sport where you can't take anything off. Basketball has an element of finesse. Even boxing, as brutal as it is, if you ever boxed or learned to box, you understand they call it a sweet science for a reason. Every punch ain't a killer. Some punches you just throw out there to set up the next killer. You see what I'm saying? Every other sport has an element of finesse. Football's the one sport you go 100 miles an hour all the time. My first favorite athlete in the world was Bo Jackson. I love two positions, running back and linebacker. All my favorite players are running backs and linebackers. Love football. I had no idea it was as unsafe as it is.
Bruh. Okay, that's stupid. Because
No,
people
no. That is marketing, sir.
people
That is
no, because
marketing.
when you look at stuff, when you look at the collision, like you didn't have to even know about CT. I'm just saying, you look at the collision scientists and all that have already said is equivalent of getting into multiple car accidents every time you put on the pads to play a game. Our bodies are not designed to collide. We are not rams.
So
We have
this is
soft,
why
squishy skin.
you have shoulder pads and you have helmets.
Okay,
And if
all
you
right,
go back,
bet.
you have those big linebackers wear those big
Okay,
ass neck rolls.
okay, all
Like
right.
you have all the padding.
No, that's not. Our bodies are. You still is minimizing it, but it's not stopping the collision. A car has airbags. You can still die from that.
But that's the thing. This I'm telling you, as someone who grew up
Motherfuckers
in
was
the 80s,
clotheslining people too.
and you saw I got to see Ronnie Lott, and I got to see Chuck Cecil, and later on Rodney Harrison, and all of these nasty, you went across the middle and got your head taken off. Wasn't no flag. You just had to
And
get
what?
up.
And you think they just
You had
walked?
to get
So
up.
okay, so you thought after seeing them hits, all right, they cool. That's what you thought. Nothing wrong. Nothing's going. It's not going to affect your body long term. Getting laid out, being in car
Because they
accidents
got up
multiple
and they
times.
went back. It was, and I hate to say it, but we have to go down that path. It was a man sport. You got up, you went back out there.
I
Ronnie
get
Lott
it.
famously got the tip of his finger cut off to go play football. It's a man sport. And no one knew in the NFL, and that's why I said this is the beauty of marketing. It was marketed as a tough guy sport. It is marketed as it's a difference between being hurt and being injured. And if
It's
you
still
hurt,
like
you
that.
you play hurt.
It's
If
still
you
like
injured, but you play hurt.
it's still like that. But
And
go ahead.
little did we know, we are literally rattling our brains in our head. They even came up with really cool names like mild concussion. Any doctor will tell you there's no such thing as a mild concussion. Anytime your brain slaps your skull, that's bad. And we can go down a list of players Jim McMahon, famous quarterback for the '85 Bears. He has short-term memory loss. He can barely see. Those sunglasses aren't for fashion anymore. Keep the bright lights out his eyes. The whole movie Concussion. Like, that's the thing. We didn't know how unsafe it was because the NFL did a marvelous marketing job of making it seem like family fun. And unless you broke a bone, yeah, you good. And we didn't realize players getting addicted to pain meds, players having, playing career over and their heads are ringing and they can't remember shit outside of football. So no, the NFL did an amazing marketing job. And I go back to I grew up loving football. But now, after everything, I understand it's simply not safe. And you are mortgaging your future. This ain't like the NBA where the longer you play, you got to worry about your knees and everything else. Like, man, will I be able to go run or move without pain in your legs when you're 65? This is and this is not blowing things out of proportion. Looking at the suicide, Junior Seau, Duverson. This is, will I have my brain intact when I'm 50? The NFL has done a marvelous job of not telling us how unsafe football is.
You do know now, and no one
I don't think
cares.
I
No
don't
one
think we do.
cares. We do
I
know.
still don't think we do.
We do. CT, all that other stuff. We do know. No one cares because it's a man's sport. And if they have any slight of concussion, they don't play for a week or two. So they're doing everything to protect the players, but it's still a collision sport. You're still being in multiple car accidents. Yes, people aren't getting clotheslined anymore or speared, but a big hit is a big hit. Whether you get hit by an arm or a helmet or you get hit with the
But
shoulder.
it has been made safer. You cannot leave with the crown of your helmet. You'll be out of a job. You can't do that anymore. You can't leave with the crown of your helmet. And it's a lot of those big hits we saw. We remember, Bo Jackson running over the entire Cincinnati Bengals team. We remember Steve Atwater putting a Koye on his ass. Thing is, though, it's a passing league. Like you could count the 1,500-yard rushers on one hand. It's a passing league. So that, along with rule changes, has changed the game and by default made it a bit safer.
It's a bit
You've had
safer.
to.
Well, it's a passing lead, but if it was a passing lead back then, people would get hurt way worse because there's a lot of passes now that I see and I'm like, oh, he gonna die, and nothing happens or it's soft
Right.
because you're not worried about going over the middle anymore. Like I said, when I was playing, and then back then, if you went over the middle, you gonna get laid the hell out. Ain't nothing you can do about that. You might as well just brace for it. But now it's just like quarterbacks aren't scared to throw over the middle. There's no quote unquote big hitters anymore. They're
True.
good tacklers, but there's no like someone where you just
There's not a Ronnie Lott.
no
There's not a
Dawkins, no
Ronnie
Ryan
Lott.
Lotts, no John Lynch's. There's nothing like where it's like I might.
You're gonna get your clock clean.
Yeah, that's we don't have that anymore. So it's like
Right.
the
But
passing
it's
it did change, but yeah, the rule changes is what really changed the game.
the
Because
rule, and I think the other thing too, though, you got to think until you got the TO, like you got wide receivers. You see, also the other piece is you have wide receivers that can dish out punishment. Uh, David Boston, TO, Megatron, like you better bring it
Debo,
because if not, they will run
yeah,
you over.
Andre
But
Johnson, yeah, there's big
yeah,
receivers now.
but I mean, I say I had to say, I grew up loving football, and I just also had no idea as a kid how insanely unsafe it was. And when you say we know now, I don't think we do. I think we have a hint. I think as time goes on and some of these players we loved age and we can do more studies, like it's already study that says by the time if you make it to pro football, you already got some form of CTE. It's just a matter of how bad.
Yeah, I mean, what I don't know what other information they were holding that we don't know.
Because
That's
if
gonna
they
legit
say
change people's mind and be like, I'm not watching.
because unlike and the big thing is, and I've heard this on from Dan Levitard, unlike the other sports, you watch boxing, there's danger there. You watch boxing, you're watching someone really kind of put their life on the line. You watch MMA, you understand, you are watching someone possibly put their life on the line.
So
It is
that's cool.
understood this is dangerous.
So
This is
that's
not
cool.
it. Marketed, if you pay attention, MMA, boxing commercials, those are not marketed to kids. The NFL markets itself to kids. The NFL markets itself as good family fun. At the end of the day, though, when you say if we really want to get really uncomfortably real, you are talking about the sacrifice of primarily black bodies for white ownership. 70% black league, 99% white ownership. Be pissed off at me if you want to, but one thing I'm not is wrong. Okay? So I get it. Everybody, oh, they're making millions of dollars, da da da. You said this when we talked about it. You're essentially sacrificing your body for financial gain, for
Yeah,
financial gain in your family.
people will do a lot, will sacrifice a lot for a lot less. I mean, this is
But like I
not
said,
saying it's right, but this is what no one cares. We know they know the risk.
And maybe I'm naive. I think no one cares because we don't have a class example. Follow the analogy. It might not be 100% accurate, but follow the analogy. There's a warning label on cigarettes that says may cause cancer, right? You might get throat cancer. You might get lung cancer, but you might not. Now, if I put a warning label on cigarette that says will get cancer, 40% chance you will die, I think people will rethink their smoking at that point. Because as long as there's this, maybe I won't. As long as you might get cancer, but I might not. You might get lung cancer, but I might not. I'll smoke. I'll take the chances. But when it says you will get cancer, 40% chance you will die if you do. Watch how many people stop smoking. I say that to the NFL. If there is a way to quantify, you will get CTE. You have a 30% chance of having suicidal thoughts after your retirement. How many folks are going to sign up for that?
You'd be surprised.
I would be. Because right now it's marketed as just fun, good, clean fun. And we change the tackling. We teach them earlier in Little League how to tackle properly and blah, blah, blah.
New helmets, more padding. All that, yeah.
More padding in the helmets. Right. Absolutely. It's cool. So I might not get CTE. I might be okay.
Not. That is actually true. You might not.
Right. And this is why I say we don't know everything. Because if they hid the fact of the damage of concussions, what else could they still be hiding? They had a nice hefty settlement with a whole bunch of retired players. What else could they be hiding? Because you've already shown a propensity to hide now. Until it was exposed, you were perfectly okay not telling these players, you know what? The fact that you can't remember shit outside of football, you can remember 3rd and 9, that crossing route in 1981, but you can't remember the last 4 digits of your social security number? That, we're not going to tell you that. It's okay. You just, just a little foggy. No, it's because I got my head rammed for 13 years in NFL.
Yeah, but some of the stuff that you said, we know now. Back then, you had a better choice, but you know it now. You're taking the risk on purpose.
Because you're taking a risk. I think you're taking a risk based on the information that's out there, and that presumes that is all the information that's out there.
They've already proven and said that playing a football game, especially in that level of how big and strong and fast people are in the professional level, is you're literally in multiple car accidents, every collision. What the hell you think that's going to do to your body? Most people get into a minor fender bender and be hurting and crying and want to sue somebody. So imagine doing that multiple times every week. What do you think you're going to be straight? I don't care what type of pattern they have. Unless it's adamantium, you won't feel it. Unless you Colossus, you gonna feel it. Unless you Luke Cage, you gonna feel it. Something's gonna be wrong. Our bodies is not designed to collide. We are not Rams. We are not. Our bodies is weak as hell. When it comes to combat type stuff, that's not our design. So yes, something is wrong. You're taking that risk. I think most people know that you're taking that risk, but they don't care because the messed up system that this the only way. If you're tall, if you're fast and strong and can cut or can throw 80 yards, you think that's the only way that you can make good money like that and change the life of your family. Some people are willing to take that risk, self-sacrifice myself, and I can set up my family for generations. So
I mean, now funny we didn't went down this rabbit hole because circling back, we started this surprise Flores getting fired and soon the NFL. But I mean, I am curious to see what happens. And the thing that would shut him up, I just don't think NFL owners had a propensity to do. You know how this goes away real quick? You know how we really see what's what? Offer him a job.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, give him a job.
Oh, really? We racist? You want to be a head coach? I'm just saying, we got a job right.
Because then if he takes it, he looks bad. So yeah.
I mean, now I don't know. It could be legally. Maybe they at this point, since he's literally filed a lawsuit, I don't know if he can get hired. Like at this juncture. But then again, it's the same thing with Cap. I don't know if Cap could have took a job if he wanted it when he was in the middle of suing the NFL. Like, how I'm gonna hire you and you suing me, dog? Like, how that look? How that work?
I mean,
Where they do
yeah,
that
I
at?
mean, that's just
But
everyday
I
life.
don't know.
If you suing your boss, you really think your boss don't want to hire you back? No, they know. That's just
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But I commend him because truth be told, if we play this the way things are gonna go, he's doing what Cap did, and last time I checked, Cap ain't been back in the NFL since.
oh, his NFL career is over. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, it's done now. Now it's dead.
It's over.
He ain't been in the NFL since.
Nah.
If we talk about, so he's probably never going to coach again. He might want to look at the collegiate ranks.
That's what I'm
Coaching
saying.
HBC,
Yeah,
coaching
I'm saying
HBCUs.
Brian Flores, his NFL
Yeah.
head coaching is over.
Oh yeah, it's done. It's
It's
done.
over.
It's done. But he's falling on his sword, and I get it. My man wants to say he's not a martyr because as long as he had a job, he was cool. I think there's merit to that argument because when you say, "Hey, I got offered 100 racks from the Dolphins to lose games," you legitimately didn't do it. Cool, but it I can't. It's the look of impropriety. It looks a certain way when you become a quote unquote whistleblower because you're not in the club anymore.
It's kind of like the dirty pig. When they stop getting payments, they start to talk. I hate to compare him to a pig, but that's the same analogy I'm going with. You was cool with the shit and breaking the law and doing all that or breaking the rules until they stopped paying you. And then it was like, oh no, yeah, arrest y'all. No.
Let me turn whistleblower.
Right. So yeah,
that's not a good look. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. we gotta go trade day. I'm putting cases. But yeah, I got you. So that's where it gets weird. But in other NFL news, the undisputed GOAT is retiring. There will be no more Tom Brady. I respect it 100% because I was kind of shocked that we didn't get the farewell tour we got with Peyton, the kind of farewell tour we got with Ben. We're talking about the greatest quarterback to ever live. And you're just like, nah, I'm cool. I'm just gonna walk away and call it a day. That's the most Tom Brady. That's the most Tom Brady thing ever.
That's something he would do.
It's the most Tom Brady thing ever.
Like, man, you know what? I threw for 5,000 yards, third most in history. I probably might win another MVP. He's like, I'm good. I'm not coming back.
But that's yeah. But I'm just like, as a fan of all things New York, obviously we hate all things Boston. Hated the Patriots, but you gotta tip your hat when you look at the numbers and what they were able to do over a 20-year stretch. Like you talk about a 20-year stretch, 6 titles. That means every third year, basically, they won a title. When you put it in perspective, 20 years, 6 titles, and
I think they had 10 Super Bowl appearances.
Was that hit? No, that's Tom. I think that's Tom. That's not necessarily.
I think he lost twice to the Giants. He lost to Eagles.
Right. There's 3. And
then that's 6 plus 3. That's 9. Okay, so he had 9.
Yeah, that's as a Patriots, right? That's 9 appearances. That's a 66%. That's 66% win percentage. And it's just and I've been watching the Man in the Arena. I gotta say, I like it so far. I like it better than The Last Dance. I'm gonna ask that on Facebook later. But who do you like? Have you watched it yet?
What is it?
Okay, it's Man in the Arena is a Tom Brady doc and Trade Chronicle. Yeah, I actually like it better than
The Last Dance.
Last Dance. Yeah, because it's different watching someone. It's just it's a different, and I get it. This is a me thing. I really never loved the super cocky athlete. I love confidence, but not arrogance slash cockiness. That's probably partially why I prefer Kobe over Jordan. But oh wait, those who are listening, why'd you make that face, sir?
You just Kobe is the embodiment of freaking cockiness and arrogance.
No. See, here's the thing. I will tell you, and it's nuanced. As someone who grew up through the 80s and seen both, it's nuanced. Jordan, at least to me, carries this air of I'm better than you. Just
And
because
Kobe did.
I'm Kobe carried an air of I'm going to outwork you. See the
And I'm
difference?
better than you.
See the difference?
So
See the
did
difference? 'Cause-
Jordan. He's literally a Jordan clone. They did the same thing.
Mm, mm. Because if you watch The Last Dance, it's just oozing with I'm basically 75% of that could have been, I'm Michael Jordan. You see what I'm saying? Like 75% of that shit could have been, because I'm Michael Jordan.
I mean, it
And
was a
Kobe,
Michael Jordan documentary.
no, it wasn't. It was about the Bulls. That's
No,
another reason.
it was
Another
it was a
reason.
Michael Jordan documentary. I know it was
Should
supposed
have
to be
been.
about the
Right,
Bulls.
it's
but
about
it
the
was
last season of the Bulls.
it was literally from episode 1 to the last part of Michael Jordan experience with the side of Bulls.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
That was horribly marketed because we thought we were
Right.
talking about
We thought it
the
was gonna be a
98
Bulls doc.
Right.
No, it was a Michael Jordan doc.
It was a Michael Jordan doc. Yeah.
But I like Tom Brady's documentary. I don't think there's gonna be any blowback when this is over, said and done with. Unlike Scottie Pippen being pissed and a whole bunch of other players being rightfully pissed off.
I mean,
But
they pooped on Shotty. Yeah.
right, and I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, I like the Tom Brady documentary. If you haven't got a chance to see it, Man in the Arena, it's like an 8-part series on ESPN Plus. Definitely worth the watch. But I'm just like, when you look, I hated all things Boston, but when you look at what they were able to do in the Patriot way, and Belichick I think being the unarguably the greatest coach ever. Because again, he took a rookie quarterback. He cut Cam Newton, a MVP and Super Bowl quarterback, and said, I'm gonna go with this rookie dude that ain't never thrown a pass in the NFL, and made the playoffs. That is it. This can be Tom Brady 2.0. It really can. And in 3 years, if you see the Patriots knocking on the door again, don't be surprised. Do not. I said you heard it here first. Because I was shocked. I'm like, that was a stupid move. You're gonna start this rookie over Cam Newton? Are you nuts?
Yeah, Cam made the same, so that wasn't that hard of a choice. Right.
To me, that's a super hard choice because one thing you can't account for in this league is experience. And Cam done it all, and he's got the mobility. He's still got the arm. Like, what is that? A half step slower Cam Newton is better than how many quarterbacks in this league right now? Okay.
Not a lot. There's a lot of running quarterbacks now.
The point I'm getting at is you can probably off the top of your head name 5 quarterbacks you take over Cam Newton, right?
10.
Good luck naming 10.
10.
Okay. Let's make this real fun. You take Jimmy G over Cam Newton?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We're gonna leave that alone.
They both ass. I mean, okay. Go ahead.
See, there you go. But yeah, I had to say, wow. So salute to Tom. Salute to an amazing, amazing career. We will probably never see the likes of. Your boy Patty Melt in Kansas City had a shot, but
all right, stop with the Patty Melt. His name is Patrick, my homeboy. Get it right.
Yeah, okay. Patty Melt. All right, Patty Melt. But
pause.
I'm just saying, like, we had it. We don't know. We may never see that again.
We're not.
We may never see.
We're not.
What? I mean, okay. All nonsense aside, Mahomes is the closest we might get. Aaron's career is almost over. But we talk about that kind of getting back to the Super Bowl like that and having the sheer talent to win. If as long as Andy Reid is there,
but he ain't gonna be there for 20 years like Bill Belichick was. Andy is up there. He ain't gonna be there for 20 years.
We'll see. But salute to Tom. I didn't get a chance to let you speak on that, man. What you think about Tom retirement?
Um, yeah, it was the most time thing ever. I thought he was coming back until I seen the report. I was like, okay. And then how his last interview after he lost the playoff game, he was like, yeah, I'm satisfied. Like you ain't never heard Tom Brady say, I'm satisfied. It was
Right.
always, let's go about next year. We're gonna be back. So I was like, yeah, it sucks. It's the GOAT. We'll never see anything like him again. Like you said, the closest thing we got to him is Patrick Mahomes. But I don't know if he'll get to the level he is, as many Super Bowls or Super Bowl appearances. He might get the MVPs in like the numbers, but the Super Bowl MVPs, I don't think anybody will touch that. Because outside of Bill Russell, he's probably the craziest winner in modern day sports.
Yeah. And I mean, I think Tom had the when you run it back through Tom's career, he only had two real threats at quarterback. That being you had to deal with the Colts every year in Peyton Manning. You had to deal with Ben every year in Pittsburgh.
Ben.
You know.
And Flacco
But
in the playoffs.
Flacco, you had to worry about the Ravens defense more than Flacco.
No, you didn't. In the playoffs, Flacco was that guy. That's not.
Are you being delusional, Ravens
I'm
fan
not
right
being
now?
delusional. In the regular season, he was ass. In the playoffs, he turned into Joe Montana. I don't know how, but he does. Numbers back it up. Look it up. I'm trying to tell you.
Oh God, Ravens fans. You're just a short fence away from Cowboy fans. I swear you are. You're just a short fence away from
No
Cowboy
one is
fans.
close to Cowboy fans. They're in the league of their own.
And this is why Ravens fans are the second most delusional. Okay.
No.
And this is why Ravens fans are the second most delusional.
No.
But you know, he's got but right now, Patrick's road, one of the reasons he may or may not do it is because he's got 4 gunners in the conference. You got Josh, you got Lamar Jackson, you got your man's in Cincinnati,
Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty.
You know, so you got some, and these cats gonna be around for a minute.
Yeah,
for a minute. So yeah, it's gonna be a little tougher. But I think as long as you had Belichick, Brady, you had a chance. You got Mahomes, Andy Reid, you got a chance. You got a shot. They show that defense up, it could be lights out. Because the thing is, that offense can at any point in time hang 30 on you. Now, if you can get a defense to keep a team under 20, they can be lights out. Absolutely be lights out. But peace out to Tom. Now, I'm unless you feel like diving deep. For those who have not been paying attention, Whoopi Goldberg kind of got herself into some hot water for some comments she made earlier. To me, that's a real conversation. I can say we can save that, but it's a lot there, man. It's a lot there, and that alone can eat another half hour. I say we table that till next week. You good with that? If you want to dive in it, we'll dive in it. But
no, it ain't really much to dive into. That's a lose.
Oh, it's a lot.
That's a lose.
Yeah, but it's
a lose situation.
I'll put it to you like this: we've seen this movie before. It's called Nick Cannon. We really just saw this movie a little while ago, but we gotta have a conversation openly and honestly, and I just don't think the conversation Nick Cannon had was an open and honest conversation. I think it was one-sided. I think it was the Jewish rabbi pretty much kind of schooling him on one side of the fence.
I don't remember, what did he say? I forgot what Nick Cannon. He didn't say what Whoopi Goldberg said. She said a completely different thing.
Nah, Nick got himself in the hot water talking about and I still honestly have missed the part that came off as very anti-Semitic, but Nick essentially was like, white people were savages. It's in their DNA to be savage, so on and so forth. And amongst other things, some of that conversation was taken to be anti-Semitic. So that's what brought the rabbi out.
Okay,
there's more to it than that. I can't remember. But I remember him having to sit down with the rabbi, that appearing very, very one-sided. And I get it because from Nick's angle, he was like, school me, let me learn what I said was wrong. Let me understand how what I said was wrong. And then it devolved to a bit because the rabbi wanted him to announce Farrakhan, blah, blah, blah. But long and short of it is, Whoopi was saying, I believe something a lot different. But if she's wrong, and I only say if, not because
She
I'm
was wrong.
challenging it.
She
I'm
was wrong.
saying if because I don't have the knowledge, and I think we need to be able to have a conversation, but it also not be one-sided. I get the argument, like she's saying, look, there's essentially white on white crime. And I get Jewish people being up in arms, like, no, your idea of white and black is based on
Skin.
America's racial
Yeah, that's
construct.
not race. Race isn't just skin. That's just what we do here. What race is more than that. Like the definition of race is way more than that.
Yeah, it's like,
Ethnicity is something different, but
and that's I'm like, is that a huge difference? Is it nuanced? And
there's
again, I'm not saying anything to try to offend because of something I've read, and I forgot where I read it at, right? One of the benefits, if we're going to be honest, one of the benefits that Jewish people have had, at least in this country, is you look like your oppressor.
yeah, but this is where Whoopi was wrong because it was very specific about Nazi Germany, what they were trying to do,
Oh yeah, they was like, you
and
Jewish?
who.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't just Jewish. I'm saying like they had a. This is why it was about race and it was racism because they were very specific about who the elite people were: white, blue eyes, blonde hair. If you
The
didn't fit that
Aryans.
description, you were viewed as inferior and another race. So that was indeed racism. So
Okay, time
that's
out,
why you
time out,
can't
time
say
out, time
that
out.
it wasn't racism
He,
because it
here's
was.
okay. So here's where I think the crux of the issue is, because they said this is about race. Is that the overall definition of race? Does it? Because I get it. They were like, "Yo, check it out. You're not Aryan. You got to go."
That's what I'm
They
saying. I'm
made it
saying
a
for that
racial issue.
situation, that it was
Right.
about race. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. I'm not saying for the whole thing. I'm saying for that the Holocaust situation, it was literally about race. That was what it was about. If you weren't this, you had to die. Gay, straight, it didn't matter if you looked like if you weren't this, you were dying. That's they were real specific about that and why they were doing it.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. But that's where we need to one. We need. I honestly think there's a lot to learn from our Jewish brothers and sisters.
Yeah. They're the
As
only
a
people.
group, we have both suffered
Yes.
tremendously
Yes.
historically,
I'm about to say,
right?
they're the only people that can look at black people like, man, we suffering. They can be like, who you telling? Yeah.
Right. But we need to be able to start having these conversations because, like, Jewish people are the only people I know that actually have a word for their racism. If you say the N word or you say some crazy wild out shit,
It's
you
racist.
just racist.
Right.
But you say something against Jewish folks, you ain't just racist, you anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
It's that's a different level. And it requires learning history, it requires understanding what being Semite is. Um, then you got to get to the ugly of Israel and them and their issue with Palestinians. And it's so that's I'm like,
That's a
there's a
different
lot of
now.
things
Okay.
to come.
That's a different subject where I have a problem with. But other than
But
that,
it's like,
yeah.
and there's a lot of information. We got a background information we need to come to the table with to have a conversation. But it just seems like whenever this conversation comes up, it's contentious or it's one-sided. And it's one side talking to the other like, no, we went through bah, 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 bah. You need to bah, 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 bah. On both ends. Like, wait, whoa, whoa. See, time out. We have a common enemy here. We have both been the victims of white supremacy. Let's talk about Leopold. Let's talk, like you lost 6 million Holocaust. We lost 10 million transatlantic slave trade. We both lost at the hands of the same people. So that alone lets us know we got a common enemy. And by default, we need to figure out where our commonalities are. We don't just need to start from you suffered, I suffered, who suffered more. We don't need to win the oppression Olympics. We need to figure out how the hell do we get rid of white supremacy and this shit don't happen no more.
Amen. Preach.
I mean, it's just I get it. And you know, obviously there would be some feeling of some kind of way because out of the two groups, one of them has not gotten anything that resembles reparations. So pardon us if we just a little bit salty. In fact, one of us still victim of white supremacy today here as a diaspora and at home. The white supremacist construct works against people, works against melanated people today. That is empirically proven. I do not have the ability in any way, shape, or form to assimilate. This is not to imply Jewish people intentionally try to assimilate. This is to say I don't have a choice. Africa, Mother Africa, is still being raped for resources now. You got Israel. Not a matter of comparison per se, just a statement of fact. We have no reparations. That might be a point of contention, but we need to talk about it because regardless of what has happened, we still have a common enemy.
We do.
So this thing with Whoopi, this thing with Nick Cannon, and this thing with Farrakhan, and we shouldn't be figuring out how different we are. We need to come together. And that's been for centuries. But I don't think suspending Whoopi goes anywhere near building that bridge. I just don't. I think this could have been handled differently.
I don't know how the hell that subject even came up on that show. But it's just something like, it's one thing to say everything you just said, but when you start mentioning the Holocaust, it's just, there's not much you can say. Just leave that alone. Leave it alone. Say nothing. Keep it in your head. Because if a Jewish person says something about slavery, you'd be mad as hell.
I mean, well, but that's the other thing. So at no point did Whoopi say the Holocaust never happened, because I'm still blown away by
people say it
Holocaust
did
deniers.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still blown away by the Holocaust deniers. Like, fam, there's literal pictures and footage. Like, you can see people in concentration camps. The hell you mean? They just staged it all. They just found like hundreds and hundreds of people who hadn't eaten in months to stand there and take a photo. Like, stop.
Yeah,
I don't get
that's
them.
extreme. Yeah, that's extreme.
That's a notch above the people. The U.S. never went to the moon. What? Like them the conspiracy people. You down there with the microchips and jabs people for me. Like, make it make sense, dog. Like, make it make sense. Because when you like, what? Like, yeah, you down there, but we do need to talk about it. But it's just the problem. I think the problem is when you talk about Black and Jewish relations, at least from a surface level, I'm not going levels deep, surface level, is when it comes to the Holocaust, we are told never to forget. And why would we? That, at least as from a marketing standpoint, I use the term marketing usually, is the biggest atrocity in human history.
But they are trying to get us to forget about slavery. That's funny.
Bingo.
So yeah, I knew where you're going with this. I was like, yeah, they are trying to forget about, our dirty past, but yeah, we gotta always remember them. Not saying we shouldn't, because we should, but
see,
that's
and
messed up.
Here is a great place for us to connect. Texas, and a few other places are in the process of pulling certain books from shelves. One of them is a book called Maus, M-A-U-S. The author's name escapes me, but it is about the Holocaust. It is about the Holocaust, right? They're pulling that from shelves. They're also pulling books from Black authors from shelves.
I remember that.
Wonder why. So here is a place, my Jewish brothers and sisters, where we definitely need to come together because this is white supremacy trying to scrape history clean.
Blood. Just trying to scrape the blood.
Ooh. What, like gotta use the Black Widow term, trying to get the red off their ledger.
You can't have it, man. Like Loki said, no matter what you do, you can't wipe that clean. You will steal people everywhere you touch.
Trying to get blood off the ledger. So you trying to get the red off the ledger, and I'm like, okay, my Jewish brothers and sisters, we see what's happening here, right? We see what essentially amounts to white supremacy trying to scrub clean all that's been done.
Mm-hmm.
They want to raise a generation that knows nothing
about the past.
Like Thanos. They'll never know it because you won't be alive to tell them. And we cannot let that happen.
We can't.
Side note, we've gotten way more Avengers quotes than Dark Knight quotes lately. But
it's coming back. I'm gonna make sure of that. I'm gonna make sure of that. I just been chilling. I could have used the Dark Knight quote, but I've been chilling.
We got a lot more Avengers quotes lately. Like, yeah, I noticed that. We've been going to Marvel and DC.
Yeah, you gotta show Marvel some love too, man. You gotta show Marvel some love.
But I just don't think suspending Whoopi was a good way to go. I thought this could have been handled differently. This is not to downplay anybody who took offense. This is to say this is what we call a teachable moment. If we're gonna be real to real here, really, really real. How many teachable moments did Meghan McCain have on that show? How many times did she say some wild, outlandish shit that she definitely have a teachable sit down for? But that's that, man. All right. So, real quick, we're gonna close it out. Real quick, close it off this. I went to go see the new Scream movie.
I did.
Wait for Netflix. Wait for Netflix. That's my take. Unless you're a real fan of the franchise. There's nothing new to see here. They just remixed it. You did lose one main character, which is kind of tragic, but they kind of left the door open for a sequel.
They said they're making it. I think it's confirmed.
Oh gosh. Okay, that's scary. But out of 5 possible scoops, I gave it 2.75. Nothing new to see here. You can wait for Netflix. But you sent me the trailer for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
Let me find out the good people at Netflix done figured out how to make horror movies and Hollywood has not.
Yes. You can't mess this up. You can't mess this up. From the trailer? Like, come on, bruh. The kills just, like, especially that last part when they on the bus. Oh, no, they
Bro, just got we're going to take out the whole bus, sir. I had to make some tough decisions.
I'm sorry. This is why I will survive no horror movie. It's a busload of people. It's one dude. He didn't even start up the chainsaw yet. You sat there and recorded, wait for him to start it up, and then
I like that though. Like this is pretty much what society would do.
That's so 2020. That's so 2010, 2020 mentality. Yeah, I'm gonna cancel you. We're recording.
We're canceled. No, you about to get really canceled, B.
He has a mask out of human skin. You think he cares about being recorded?
Like, fam. So now pretty much we're just gonna watch you get sawed on live.
Right.
So on IG live, you're getting sawed up.
There weren't no black people on that bus, because boy, we jumping him, he getting jumped, and then we running.
No. See, I was gonna say I'd had some hard decisions to make because I'd have figured out, all right, so which one of y'all don't I like the most? And there you go. Which one of y'all do I not like the most?
See, you don't have to do that. Just jump them. It was like 15 people.
Son like 9 feet tall with a chainsaw,
bro. He didn't start it up yet. But that time when you sitting there doing this, I could have.
Yeah, nah, fam. I'm throwing somebody away and I'm out the back door. Hey. I'm out the back door.
Hey, it's like that the Friday movie with the brother. I'm going out swinging.
Friday the 13th when he just went out like throwing Mad Tyson 10-hit combos on Jason, and yeah, nah.
So you just gonna sit there and take it? That's it?
Nah, I'm going out the back door, and yeah, like something wouldn't have been me. But all right. Running back recap. Start from the top. Cheslie Kryst My condolences to your mom and all your family and everyone you affected. And I still use that as a measuring stick of please sincerely check on your folk, man. We are a collective of people here in this world. Everybody, when you take it from the standpoint of everybody is your responsibility and it is your duty in some way, shape, or form to help you see things differently. You know, Brian Flores, 100% salute. Whether or not you're a martyr remains to be seen. But either way, you will put the nail in the coffin for your NFL coaching career. But you're doing it so other black coaches, don't have to go through it. And I respect that, martyr or not. Tom retiring. He's a GOAT. He retired in the most Tom way ever. Like, I'm not surprised we didn't get the farewell tour. Salute to you, sir. We may never see this again. As far as Whoopi Goldberg is concerned, I still say we need to have open and honest conversations, even if those conversations are painful. My Jewish brothers and sisters, we have a common enemy. Let's find a way to deal with that. I don't think her suspension was a good idea. Wait for Netflix with Scream. Don't bother. And I'm on fire about Texas Chainsaw, actually on Netflix. Your recap, sir.
Yeah, Cheslie Kryst, Chris. It's tragic. Like I said, I agree. The part I do agree with you with is legit check on your people. Don't ask half-ass question and do it once or a couple of times a week, a year. Actually ask them how is your mental, how are you feeling, what do you want to talk about, actually engage and just listen. Sometimes people do that and they try to put their 2 cents in everything. Just listen. You got 2 ears and one mouth for a reason. Stop talking. uh Brian Flores lawsuit. Guess we'll see what happens, but he better get as much as he can because he ain't getting no NFL checks ever again. Tom retiring. Yeah, he's the GOAT. Like I said, he retired in the most time way possible. Nothing you can do about that.
Mhm.
The Whoopi thing, like I agree with you. You made a great point. We are really allies this whole time throughout history. We should be, but we're not, and that's many factors to that. And not gonna get into that rabbit hole right now, but one day we'll probably have an honest conversation about it. But yeah, Scream, I didn't see it. And Texas Chainsaw, I can't wait. Oh, I hope the kills are good.
Well, on behalf of my co-host, my awesome son, and on behalf of the I Said It podcast, thank y'all for tuning in. As always, same bad time, same bad channel next week. Until then, I Said It podcast. Peace.
Yow.